Hello and welcome to Stress Less with me, Jess. Today, my special guest is Amanda Wood. Hello, Amanda. How are you
Hel-
today?
Hello, I am wonderful. So glad to be here.
I'm so excited for you to be here because I don't know if I've had a stylist on here yet. So I think it'd be really cool to talk. So, what I do on here is really talk about how every job reduces somebody's stress. And
Hmm.
yours obviously does this. And one of the things that I do before I get somebody on here is I go through their social media, their website. And when I look at your website and when I look at your social media, confidence is the first word that comes to my mind. And
Awesome.
right. And it's funny because I think people are like, oh, well, it doesn't matter what you look like and things like that. And I get what they're trying to say when they say that, but there is something about wearing an outfit that you just power woman through or power man through. There's just something about it. And I think I should say, I'll speak for me personally. Personally, when I open my closet, that's not something I feel all the time. And especially for me, that's a speaker, especially for me, that's, on these calls or I go to networking events or just brunch with the girlfriends. I don't, it's rarely for me that I pull an outfit out going, girl, you about to walk in there and own it, right?
Yep.
Mentally knowing my knowledge, yes, but in
Mhm.
the outfit, it's different. So, you have 20 years experience, all the goods. Tell us how you got started. And then I want us to go into how the stress and confidence all kind of go together.
Yeah. So I got started because I had a horrible interaction with a buyer a long time ago in another life. So basically, it's kind of like my style story is how I got started. And I was a realtor back in Portland, Maine, which is where I'm from. And I was brand new, fresh, newbie. I had a seasoned broker who couldn't do his open house. And he was like, hey, fresh newbie, do you want to take my open house for me? You can take the buyers that come from it, great experience, chat, talk, get your feet wet. And I was like, so excited and I was ready and I had the property disclosure memorized. I had my best suit on and I had like my cookie candle going. So people would be like smelling fresh cookies and excited to linger and stay and ask questions. And it was an oceanfront property. So it was like, how can I not win? Like, this is perfect. I am so jazzed up and excited. So I had like one or two people come through, which I was really surprised about, but it was like, a weekend and it was a beautiful day. So I could kind of understand maybe, a lot of people are doing their own thing. But this one woman came through and she just very purposefully walked up to me, looked me up and down, and then just paused and said, is that your car outside? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, are you the broker for this open house? I was like, yeah. And so then she just stood, looked me up and down again, and walked out of my open house. So I was very much taken aback,
Mm.
speechless,
Yeah.
embarrassed, feeling very vulnerable because, at that point in time, I was in my 20s and I was like looking for a mirror to be like, do I have something weird in my face? Like, do I have something going on that I didn't notice? Like, what just happened? And so, like, in that space of being super vulnerable and super embarrassed, I can definitely relate to, my clients and how they, may or may not feel, but a lot of them do when they come to me because they're coming to me with an issue or, a problem or, like you just said, looking in your closet and not feeling, you know, inspiration, not finding something that like makes you feel on top of the world. And so I did find a mirror. And as I was, looking at myself and saying, what is she seeing that I'm not? Let me, step out of a different perspective and just take just a look at myself as if I was not me. And I was like, okay, well, I do have a suit on, but it's from the Gap. Nothing against the Gap. Gap is great. unfortunately, if you want to make a really great first impression at a waterfront high priced property, a Gap suit may or may not be the best option. And it had like a Peter Pan collar. It was a boxy cut. It was cropped. It wasn't, best for my body type. And the beige color of it was so close to my skin color that I just kind of, wasn't making the best impression. And I just really took that home and took that minute and changed immediately my style. And it was to the point that I launched, or I could say relaunched my career, had all of my fellow realtors that were, in my newer group taking me out to lunch, asking me what had happened. And I became $1 million producer. So for me and my own experience of that experience, I felt that gut punch, but then took it and used it and, turned it around and bought a great apartment, bought all of my furniture in cash, and became that $1 million producer.
Wow, what a story. Because I feel so many of us have had a very similar experience where we've
Yep.
gotten judged based on our appearance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, and there's so many stories, right? That'd be a whole other episode within itself. But so many of us can just say, I've been there too.
Yep.
And honestly, I think so many of us could even say, I've done that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Where we've looked at somebody and made an assumption because of how they were dressed, right?
Yeah.
And so what I also hear was, and take me back to this moment of going back to that mirror and looking at it, not from your perspective, but from an
Mm-hmm.
outsider perspective, because I
Mm-hmm.
think this is really cool. Because I think sometimes we go, oh, well, why does it matter what other people think? I hear you. I hear you.
Yep. Yep.
But one of the things they try to teach you when you're learning about yourself is ask others what they value in you, ask others
Yes.
what they see in you. So it's not just you going in that mirror and saying, let me pick myself apart. It's more of let me
Yep.
learn for myself. And I
Yes.
think if I'm tell me if this is what you do as a stylist, that's kind of what you do in the sense of I'm not judging you. That's not
Mm-hmm.
my end game.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
let's see all the greatness in you as
Yes.
well. And how do we highlight that through clothing?
Yes, exactly. So yes, on point. Perfect. Yes. So because of my art background and having done art for so many years, that the minute I'm meeting a client, I see them as, an art project, a piece of pottery, a beautiful painting, something that might need like a different glaze or like a different, handle or a different pattern on that piece of artwork. And so the minute I'm meeting the client, I'm already seeing in my mind's eye them in their best type of clothing for their body type and for their lifestyle and for, their skin tone and undertones. And I can immediately see that because I also am spending, a lot of time having a great chat with them in my discovery call of asking them just awesome questions to get a little bit more into what matters to them. And so I'm able through my questions to figure out, what style are they aspiring to? What emotions are attached to that? And then also what goals are they trying to achieve so that I can craft the perfect wardrobe for them that will, give them longevity in their wardrobe and also help them feel amazing and achieve all their goals. Because it's like, it's crazy. Like we're all human and we judge each other in 3 to 7 seconds. And that's it. That's what we got. Like that quick done. And then it's just unfortunate, but we are human. So that happens. So I love seeing the transformation in my clients of letting them know, like, you are worth it. Like you are an amazing human. So let's get your image and your you in alignment rather than you saying, well, this is good enough. I'm out the door. I'm relatively on time. This is good enough. And I like to say to them, you're worth so much more and you deserve so much more. So why don't we get you out the door on time and feeling absolutely amazing and ready to tackle the world? Because when I shop and help my gentleman clients, and when I help my lady clients, you know, it's funny that the men will see the clothing as the issue and be like, well, the clothing's wrong, not me. The clothing is wrong. And then for women, you know, most of us unfortunately internalize it. And it's like, what's wrong with me that I don't fit in this? And it's like, no, make the clothing work for you. And it's just not the right cut for your body type. So I do a lot of, you know, mindset work along with, you know, re-imprinting their image and self-image onto themselves to show them, you know, this is the best version of you. And I love when my client is looking in the mirror and taking a moment being like, holy crap, I'm finally seeing that person reflected back at me. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you said so many things there. I think when you're talking about that mindset, because that was the first thing I was thinking about too. So so glad you brought that word up,
Yeah.
is mindset, because that's a lot of what you're working with, right?
Yes. Yep.
Because so for me, I say that stress is a reaction to change. And you are about to change someone's, you're going into someone's home, in someone's closet, to
Yep.
someone's bedroom, and saying, let me take this out and get rid of these and add this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot. And so I have two things on this.
Yep.
One, tell me what it's like in helping someone change and seeing the benefits, or just showing, taking the steps to do that. And my two is my story of when I went to my first branding photo shoot. I brought my own clothes and
Mm-hmm.
hung them out. I've told you this story,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I hung them out, and the photographer had her whole thing of clothes. And she goes, yeah, cute that you brought your own, but
Love the
I
effort.
love the effort. But my thought and feeling was, when she was showing me things off the rack, I'm going, I would never buy that.
Yes.
That's a brown jacket. No, like these
Mm-hmm.
were my mindsets, but I was also in a place that I've never done before. So I'm like, let me try it,
Yep.
girl,
Which is
or
awesome. Yeah.
listeners.
Yep.
Just the fact of trying something out of your comfort zone that you would never have gone and picked up yourself, or just even the fact that she was showing it on the rack saying, here, you're going to try this. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. I'm sure
Yep.
not. But okay,
Yep. And
you're
those
the
are the
expert.
pieces you love. Yeah.
Obsessed with,
Yep.
obsessed with, right?
Yep.
So, so two things. Tell me the steps of working with somebody to see that, right? Because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody's going to have that mindset. Um, yeah, so start with that. Let's start with that. Sorry,
Okay.
it's like
Okay.
rambled.
No worries. No worries. So I start resetting the mindset with letting them know, especially when I'm doing the wardrobe edit, either virtually or in person, is that I make it very fun. And if I do it in person, like, I'm bringing you breakfast, we're cranking up the tunes, we're having a great time chatting about each of the pieces. We're, you know, taking a few pictures with you trying on, thinking about, you know, oh, this is going to go great with da 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 for, you know, the next part of the shopping piece, and really going through your closet and being like, you know, this is sad and it no longer works for you and you deserve better. And I start with those words and letting my clients know, like, um, you're amazing. And this very sad piece of clothing that for some reason you hung on to for 30 years, you deserve better. Like, why are you holding on to it? So I start very much letting them know, you deserve so much, and let's get you a wardrobe that reflects that. And I also let them know that oftentimes the wardrobe detox, which is another subtitle I call the wardrobe edit, because I'm detoxing out so many, you know, old beliefs, limiting beliefs, old thoughts, old this, old that, that you don't realize you hold on to, and old stress that you don't realize you're holding on to until you remove it and start to see the change. And then I also let them know, like, this might sneak up on you and become very emotional for you once I have left. And I just want you to know, like, it might happen, it might not, but I'd rather just give you that quick heads up that it might. So feel free to text me, call me, like, we can talk through it. But 9 times out of 10, me having that chat, letting them know that, letting them know the best change comes from being a little bit uncomfortable. And this is part one. And then part two is going to be amazing to see the full change and just starting that shift of mindset. And so when they see the bags going out, because when I do it in person, I take the items for you and I donate them for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's just, I try to make it as fun as possible because I've been doing it for so long that I know that it can be at times vulnerable, but just that start of mindset shifting is it's the best. I have so many clients that will text me after and be like, "Oh my God, I'm doing my whole house now. This is amazing." And then, the gentleman clients are like, "I have great pieces now and I'm excited for the new pieces in, and I just have a very quick utilitarian done grab and go closet and I love that and I just love the streamlining." And lady clients are like, "This is cathartic, this is stress less, and I want to do the whole house now." So it's an awesome experience for the beginning of the change.
I think there's so many things to unpack here in the sense of one, it's funny what we put emotions on, right?
Yes.
And yeah, we're air quoting over here where I'm saying it's just clothes,
Yep.
but there's so many
It
things,
is, but it isn't.
right? It
Yep.
had memories on it. Maybe
Hmm.
you went somewhere with it, maybe someone bought it for you. But I think what you're also saying too is that I maybe had that on during a time in my life where I didn't like a piece of my body.
Yes.
So every time I wear that, even though that piece of my body is different now
Mhm.
and I love it, I might still feel it in that outfit. So I think that's super huge. And I think also what I heard too is again with the baby steps,
Yep.
the baby steps are so important, but it also triggers in other parts of your life. And
Yes.
how cool is that?
Yep.
That this is just a plateau, a starting point for the next step of your growth, and how amazing. But what I really love about what you mentioned is the fact that, again, stress is a reaction to change.
Hmm. Hmm.
Good, healthy, you're always going to have a reaction. And just like you said, I'm here to support you when that
Yes.
reaction happens.
Yep.
I'm not just here to take everything out of your
No.
closet and go, thanks, bye. It was so
Yeah.
great seeing
It
you.
was so great. I just threw away half of your closet. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Because I know like how much weight and emotion we put on clothing, and especially like when you see it leave, it's so many other emotions that get triggered that you don't realize. But then when you like, even like, if you think about like the picture in your mind's eye of like a super full loaded closet where it's like you can't really move the hangers and it's just overflowing, and you're like immediately like that picture usually invokes an emotion of stress
Yeah.
just because it's like, oh but Jesus. But then when you see like the perfectly organized, perfectly done closet, you're just immediately like, yes, I want that. And that is so light and stress less, that it's so crazy the extra emotions that are like contained within that small closet or walk-in closet that you don't realize you have, especially since we only wear 10 to 20% of our entire wardrobe. And then the rest of it is just chilling out, stressing us out.
I can believe that. So, Amanda, for the listener, they're taking all this goods in. What is the one thing you want them to take away from this episode?
You deserve better and you are worth it.
Yeah.
And to start that mind shift, and if you're already there, you can always, deserve more, and you are always worth more. And just taking a moment and saying, like, this piece of clothing, is it just to get me out the door on time, or do I love wearing it? And
Yeah.
start thinking of your clothing as something of a tool to make you feel amazing. And when you wear stuff that's right for your body type, your colors, your lifestyle, and also your intent, because with my clients I also talk about dressing for intent, that it starts a huge change, and you also then start to see your life different. And you're
Yeah.
like, I deserve better for X, Y, and Z. Let's think of the intent before making this decision or whatever. And it just does so much for your entire lifestyle and life.
So for the listener that is ready to make the change and is ready to have their closet reorganized and restyled
And detoxed.
and detoxed by you, what is the best way for them to contact you?
Either my Instagram or my website. So on my Instagram, I'm just at the Haute Edit, and then website is just www.thehauteedit.com.
Awesome. You talked a lot about being good enough
Mm-hmm.
and practicing that mindset. How do you personally practice that good enough mindset for yourself?
So I don't know if your listeners are going to think this is a little too woo-woo.
Do it, girl. We love the woo woo.
Okay, good. Good. I do a lot with, journaling, gratitude, and my vision board that's in my bathroom. So I'm always saying, am I moving forward? Am I super excited? Am I helping others? Am I filled up and, in a moment of gratitude, and making sure that I am dressing in my best self and having my best self come out, and then helping others achieve their best self.
Love it. All right. Let's get into the lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What is one of your nicknames?
Oh, too funny. Aimsley. Only
Cute.
for the reason that my parents named me Amanda and then never called me that, and then called me Amy all the time, and it turned into Aimsley.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Yep. The dog's name was Randy, so I did not get Mandy.
Could have been called Mandy.
Could have been. Skip that.
What item is worth spending more money on?
Oh, I'm gonna go with clothing again.
Figure that was an easy one.
Yep. Yep. I would go with like your 5 items of, your timeless basics to invest in quality fabric, great pieces, blazer, trench, little black dress, shirt dress for men and women, the blazer, men and women, great pair of jeans, men and women, and spend a little bit more on that because they will last a lifetime.
I hear you on that. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Spending sometimes it's worth spending money on something because the time something breaks or gets ruined, you're buying a whole new one. So I totally hear
Yeah.
you.
Especially since the blazer has been around since 1825. So I don't think it's going out of style anytime soon.
I agree. Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
What
I
movie
make sure that's done every morning because that's how you start your day on the right foot and the right mindset.
right behind you on that one?
Hmm.
What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Oh, wow. This is a interest. I haven't, uh, I could go for either of my two favorites. We have The Devil Wears Prada or Terminator 2 Judgment Day. We can thank my father's influence for the second one.
Oh my goodness. Amanda, I can't thank you enough for coming on this show and just enlightening us with the true thing about what you do. And so I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all your insights. So thank you.
Thank you. I loved being here. I loved chatting. Thank you. And thank you to everybody listening.